Hi everyone, this is Halak again. In this session I'll be covering some simple arithmetic in Java. Okay, so let's just get started. So I'm going to create my Java project. And just name it arithmetic. I can't spell. Alright, so arithmetic. I'm going to use the same name. Let me just copy that. That's my project. I tend to do that. And again, right click, Java class. I'm just going to call it arithmetic. And put it in this namespace, in this package here. Okay. And again, the name that I give to my class will actually be the file name itself. Right. So simple arithmetic. So we can either hard code our numbers. So for example, we can hard code the numbers that we're going to add, or we can actually prompt the user to enter numbers for us. So let's just say that we want to add two numbers together. Okay. What I like to do is that I like to sometimes declare my variables at the top. So I'm going to have num1, right, and num2. I can also break up the declaration there, but I can keep it on the same line. Okay. So because they're the actual input. So then I'll call another variable, just call it sum. All right. So now this is your first exposure to what an object is. I won't get in too much into it. So I'll just call it input, and you see I'll just go to the API afterwards and explain this. A quick explanation. Try to avoid as much OO at this point as I can. And so you notice that there's it can't resolve this. It can't resolve this type. So a quick and easy way to do this is actually to import your packages. So you go up to source and organize your imports. So on a Mac it would be a Shift Command O, or on a Windows box it would be Shift Control O. Okay, so I can just press that. You notice that up here it included, or it imported the scanner class for me. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to my browser here. Okay, so just minimize that. So I'm going to take the first link, and this is the Java API. Okay, API stands for Application Programming Interface. And somebody these really nice code for us to use, and particularly what we're looking for is the scanner class. So I'm going to do a search. Okay, so there it is, scanner class. Okay, and you notice that this was what's imported, right, into our code right here. Now the scanner class, what we did in this line here is that we have actually created an object, right? So first of all, I declared a variable of input, a variable called input, and it's of type scanner. And the new keyword here in OO terminology is what we call instantiation. Okay, so we instantiated this new object, and what this new object scanner does is that it allows us to read from a stream. Okay, and what is our stream? This is our stream. So we're going to read from basically the keyboard. Okay, and system.in, look, if I hover over this, it's an input stream. Actually, it's an input stream constant, or you think about, or a field, right, within the system class. Okay, so we've actually, you want to go to, let me take a look. Okay, so here's scan, and here we go to, actually we want to go down to system. I think I can just scroll down here. Right. This is a little bit more than I really want to get into, but it's also something good. It's just for those who are wondering, like, where system is coming from. Right, so this is system, And yes, you notice that I in here, right, declare it, the field name is in, and it's a field type, right? It's a field. Okay. Now we'll get into this a little bit more later on when we cover more OO. Okay, but basically this is read from keyboard input. Okay, or in someone with a in Linux or Unix terminology, we're reading from standard in. Okay. All right. So now that we have this object, what can we do with it? Well, what we can do with is that we want to read, right? That's what we said. So let's and what we're interested in is the user entering integer numbers, because we declared our integer, our num1, num2 as int type. Okay. So now let's just what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put any prompts or anything like that, so you see. I think that's actually a better way to learn. It's not. It's a little obscure at first, but you see the reason why I do it. So I go num1, and then I say input. So this is the variable that or the object that I instantiate from above here, right? So input, and I'm gonna choose next int because that's what I want to read from the screen. Okay, so it's the first one. Okay, there's other choices as well. All right, so we're saying that, well, read the next integer from that stream. Okay, so that's read, all right? And then now I can do the same thing for input 2. Okay, so I'm just going to choose that. All right. So now that I have that, what I do is that I want to sum these two. Okay, so I'm going to use the variable that we declare from above, sum, and then we're going to add the two numbers that we read in. Okay. So we have that, and now I'm just going to print it out. Okay, so it's not very descriptive, but for now, let's just I just want to emphasize some of the basics here first. Okay, so let's just run it and you see what happens. Okay, it doesn't prompt me for anything. Okay, so I'm gonna run it. So it's down here. Okay, so this is where our console is, and you notice it doesn't prompt me anything, right? So I can either enter like 1, enter 2, enter, right, and it will just give me the sum is 3. All right, but I can also run it another way. All right, so like that, right? And you notice that it actually knew the next int actually will read up to a blank space or any blank character. Okay, so here we have a blank space, and then the next one reads the next integer. Okay, so so earlier when I actually when I pressed the enter key, it recognized that as a blank space, and it read the next integer that it saw. Okay, from the input stream. Okay, so that's the reason why I didn't put any fancy like any other prompt on there. Okay. So the other thing that to emphasize is that when you do open a stream, one thing I did forget here is that you should always close the stream. You should make a habit of closing the stream. Okay, so close, so you don't have any streams that are inadvertently opened. So same thing. Right? So I can actually do 1, and then this time I'm going to press a tab. Right, so I get 3. Okay. So again, it reads the next blank character that it sees. All right. So now before I actually end this session, I'm gonna. You notice up here these are multi-line comments. Okay. You don't need to have the double asterisk. It just looks nice, right? This also works. Okay. The Java docs includes the double star. Okay. Now some people actually like to close off the method body. The last curly brace here, right? This one corresponds to that curly brace. Okay, so I'm gonna say end of method. All right. So when you're looking at it, if your method gets a little bit long, and at least you know where it ends, right? But try to keep your method small, so that it's easier to maintain your code. Okay. You notice that this is a single line comment here. All right. So I just thought perhaps I'd throw that in. Actually, the other thing I want to mention is that we've been using this a lot. There's also another format called printf. This is from C, and this is printing with formatting, right? So it's formatting printing. So what I could do is I could actually do this. I could say num1, or I say actually just do this. All right, so %d, okay, and I say plus %d is equal to %d, right? And I'll explain to you what all these things mean. And then I'm going to have 1, 2, okay? Now I can actually run this. So let's turn that. All right, so 2, 3, right? So you notice that it printed 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, right? This is what I did here. The %d here, the d is actually for the type that you want to print. So each of these placeholders, right? These are basically placeholders in the string, right? And they correspond to each one. So the first d corresponds to num1, the second one to num2, and the third one to sum. Okay, so that's formatting, right? You can also have strings as well, which is %s. I'm not going to show that, but you can go and check online the documentation. There's many different placeholder types, okay, or the % placeholder that you can look up. And so, but this is a very basic introduction of what you can do with the print formatting as well. Right? So, all right. So today I cover a bit of really basic arithmetic and a bit of formatting, and threw in a bit of commenting as well here. Okay. So I'll see you in the next video.